This program is brought to you by Fulbright Consultancy and Ama Torikotel. नेपालीहरूको सांस्कृतिक चाड तिहारको उपलक्ष्यमा सुख शान्ति र समृद्धिका साथै सबैको घर घरमा धनधान्यकी देवी एवं ऐश्वर्यकी प्रतीक लक्ष्मीले वास गरून्, यही शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छौं। जिल्ला शिक्षा कार्यालय काठमाडौँ परिवार।
नमस्कार, चन्दा प्रोडक्सनको प्रस्तुति कार्यक्रम सहयात्रामा स्वागत छ। म चन्दा घिमिरे। कार्यक्रम सहयात्रा नेपाल टेलिभिजनबाट साप्ताहिक रूपमा यसै समयमा प्रसारण हुँदै आएको छ। सर्वप्रथम शुभ दीपावलीको अवसरमा सुख शान्ति र समृद्धिको कामना गर्न चाहन्छौं। यति बेला नेपालीहरूको सांस्कृतिक एवं दोस्रो ठूलो चाड तिहारको रौनक छाएको छ। सबै नेपालीहरू देउसी भैलोको साथै रमाइलो गरी हर्षोल्लासका साथ तिहार मनाइरहेका छन् र यही रमाइलो चाडको बीच तपाईमाझ हामी कार्यक्रम सहयात्राको साथमा छौं। तिहारको यो प्रसंग यहाँ उठाइरहँदा तपाईमाझ तिहार सम्बन्धी तयार पारिएको एक सामग्री राख्न चाहन्छौं।
नेपालीहरूको दोस्रो ठूलो चाड तिहार हर्षोल्लासका साथ यति बेला देशभर मनाइरहेको छ। तिहार हिन्दू धर्मावलम्बीहरूको दोस्रो ठूलो चाड भए पनि पछिल्लो समय यसले सबै जात जाति र धर्म समुदायलाई समेट्दै लगेको पाइन्छ।
हाम्रो चाडपर्वको एउटा विशेषता के छ भने यो चतुर्वर्ण प्रधान यो चाडपर्वहरूमा जनै पूर्णिमा चाहिँ ब्राह्मण प्रधान कर्म हो, अरू सबै सहभागी हुने हो। यो दशैं चाहिँ क्षेत्री प्रधान पर्व हो, यसमा अरू सबै सहभागी हुने हो। र यो तिहार चाहिँ वैश्य प्रधान पर्व हो, अरू सबै सहभागी हुने हो। र फागु पूर्णिमा शूद्र प्रधान पर्व हो र अरू सबै सहभागी हुने हो। यसरी सबै वर्णहरू उत्तिकै सहभागी भइदिने तर मूल प्रधान वर्णले चाहिँ अझ काम गर्ने, यो एउटा हाम्रो समावेशिताको सबैभन्दा ठूलो लक्षण चाहिँ यी पर्वहरूमा देखा पर्दछन्। र विशेष गरी धुमधामका साथ काठमाडौँमा नेवार वर्गले यसलाई किन मनाएको छ, किनभने यो वैश्य प्रधान पर्व भएको हुनाले बढी वैश्यहरू अगाडि देखा पर्दछन्, अरू सबैले पनि त्यत्तिकै उल्लासमय वातावरणले मनाउँछन्। यो यस्तो एउटा चाडपर्वको विशेषता रहेको छ।
तिहारको मुख्य विशेषता भनेकै देउसी भैलो खेली रमाइलो गर्नु हो, जसका कारण यसलाई सांस्कृतिक चाडको रूपमा समेत वर्णन गरिन्छ। साथै यो चाडको अर्को विशेषता भनेको दाजुबहिनी तथा दिदीभाइ बीचको आपसी सम्बन्ध अझ प्रगाढ बनाउनुका साथै मानव र पशुपक्षी बीचको प्रगाढ सम्बन्धको चित्रण गर्नु पनि हो।
बहुआयामिक पर्व हो, किनभने यसको काग तिहार र कुकुर तिहारको सम्बन्ध हाम्रो जीवनको महत्त्वपूर्ण पक्षको सन्देश दिने, यमराजलाई सन्देश दिने कागसँग सम्बन्धित छ र कुकुरसँग सम्बन्धित छ। तर अर्को एउटा प्रसङ्ग फेरि सँगै गोपूजाको सन्दर्भ जोडिएको छ र त्यस्तै गोवर्धन पूजाको सन्दर्भ जोडिएको छ, म पूजाको सन्दर्भ जोडिएको छ र भाइटिकाको सम्बन्ध जोडिएको छ र नेपाली सांस्कृतिक पर्व जुन देउसी र भैलो हो त्योसँग पनि जोडिएको छ। त्यसकारण यसको आयामहरू चाहिँ थुप्रो छ। एउटा त आध्यात्मिक आयाम छ, एउटा धार्मिक आयाम छ, एउटा लोक सांस्कृतिक आयाम छ, एउटा मर्यादाको पनि कुरा छ। यी सम्पूर्ण कुराहरूको एकत्र प्रस्तुति चाहिँ हाम्रो तिहार हो। त्यसै कारणले तिहारलाई जस्तो भारतमा लक्ष्मी पूजा गरिसकेपछि लगभग तिहार उनीहरूको सकिन्छ, तर हामी कहाँ चाहिँ तिहारको बहुआयाम प्रस्तुत भएको छ।
कार्तिक कृष्ण पक्ष त्रयोदशीका दिनदेखि कार्तिक शुक्ल पक्षको द्वितीया तिथिसम्म 5 दिन तिहार मनाइन्छ। तिहारको पहिलो दिन काग तिहार पर्छ भने दोस्रो दिन कुकुर तिहार, त्यस्तै गाई तिहार अनि लक्ष्मी पूजा, गोरु तिहार वा गोवर्धन पूजा र भाइ तिहार अर्थात् भाइटिका गरी तिहार 5 दिन मनाइन्छ। यी सबै 5 दिनको फरक फरक महत्त्व रहेका छन्। तिहारमा घर वरिपरि सबैतिर दीप बाली धुमधामका साथ मनाइने भएकाले दीपावली पनि भनिन्छ। यस्तै यो पर्वको नाम हिन्दी शब्दको त्योहारबाट विकृत हुँदै तिहार बनेको पनि अनुमान गरिन्छ। हिन्दू धर्मशास्त्रका पौराणिक कथाहरूका अनुसार सूर्यका छोरा यमलोकका राजा यमराजले आफ्नी बहिनी यमुनाको निम्तो स्वीकार गरी बहिनी यमुनाको घरमा गई 5 दिनसम्म रमाइलो गरी बसेका हुनाले तिहारलाई यमपञ्चक पनि भन्ने गरिन्छ। तिहारको अन्तिम दिन द्वितीयामा बहिनी यमुनाको हातबाट टीका लगाएका यमराज निकै प्रसन्न भई बहिनीलाई जे मन लाग्छ वर माग भन्दा यमुनाले हरेक वर्ष आजकै दिन मलाई भेट्न आउनु भन्दै दाजुभाइको आयु कीर्ति सदा वृद्धि होस् भन्ने वरदान मागेकाले परापूर्व कालदेखि अहिलेसम्म अविच्छिन्न रूपले यो पर्व मानिँदै आइएको छ। तिहारलाई दाजुबहिनी वा भाइ बहिनीको प्रगाढ सम्बन्धको प्रतीकको रूपमा लिने गरिन्छ। भाइटिकाको दिन दाजुभाइले दिदी बहिनीलाई विभिन्न उपहार र दक्षिणा दिने गर्छन् भने दिदी बहिनीले विभिन्न परिकार दिएर पूजा गरी सयपत्री र मखमली फूलको माला पहिर्याउँछन्।
मखमली फूल कहिले पनि ओइलिँदैन। मेरो भाइले कहिले पनि ओइलिनु नपरोस्। कस्तो सुकै अवस्थामा पनि मेरो दाजुभाइ जहाँ जान्छन् उनीहरूले सदाबहार जित उनीहरूको हातमा होस्, उनीहरू सधैँभरि खुसी रहिरहन सकुन् भन्ने एउटा छ भने सयपत्रीको अर्थ चाहिँ शतायु भइरहन सकुन्। किनभने शतम जीवेम भन्ने भावना छ, शतम प्रब्रवाम भन्ने भावना छ र हामी 100 वर्षसम्म हाँस्दै बाँचौँ र 100 वर्षसम्म आफ्नो जीवन अगाडि बढाउँ भन्ने प्रतीकको रूपमा चाहिँ सयपत्री फूल रहेको छ।
झिलिमिली उज्यालो र फुलै फुलको रमझम, मिठाई तथा सियलका परिकार खाने, घरपालुवा र घर आँगन निकट रहेका पशु पक्षीप्रति सम्मान, देउसी भैलो र अन्य नाचगान गरी तिहार सर्वत्र रमाइलो गरी मनाइन्छ। नेपालको मौलिक सम्बन्ध नेपाल सम्बन्धको प्रारम्भ आफ्नो जीवनको आत्मसमीक्षा गरिने पूजा अर्थात् महपूजा पनि तिहारका विशेषतामा पर्दछन्। तेस्रो दिन गाई अर्थात् लक्ष्मीको पूजा तथा दीपावली, चौथो दिन गोवर्धन अर्थात् गोरु पूजा गरिन्छ। यही दिन नेवार समुदायमा मह अर्थात् आत्मपूजा गर्ने चलन रहेको छ। अन्तिम दिन भाइटिका पर्दछ।
नेपाली चाडपर्वका विशेषताहरूमध्ये महपूजा पनि एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण विशेषताको रूपमा देखा परेको छ र यो महपूजा चाहिँ आफैले आफ्नो शरीरलाई पूजा गर्ने भएको हुनाले पहिला आफ्नो शरीरमुखी भएर भित्र शरीरमुखी चिन्तन, किनभने एउटा सिद्धान्त छ यत् पिण्डे तद् ब्रह्माण्डे, आफ्नो शरीरमा जे चिज छ ब्रह्माण्डमा त्यही चिज छ। तर हाम्रो शरीरभित्र हामीले निहालेका हुँदैनौँ। हाम्रो शरीरलाई निहाल्नुपर्छ भनेर भगवान् बुद्धले भन्नुभयो तिमी आफ्नो शरीरभित्र निहाल त संसार सबै तिमीले देख्न सक्छौ। र उहाँले बाहिर हेर्नुलाई पश्यति भन्छ र भित्र हेर्नुलाई विपश्यना भनिन्छ। विपश्यना भनेको भित्र हेर्ने प्रक्रिया गौतम बुद्धले पनि भन्नुभयो र महपूजामा पनि नेवारी पद्धतिमा यो मूल पक्षलाई अभिव्यक्ति दिइएको छ र साथसाथमा गोपूजा र गोवर्धन पूजा पनि यसमा जोडिएको छ। गोवत्सव द्वादशीदेखि नै यो सुरु हुन्छ, किनभने गोवत्स द्वादशी यो काग तिहारको अघिल्लो दिन सुरु हुन्छ, द्वादशीको दिन, र त्यस पछाडि यो चाहिँ गोपूजासम्म यो अगाडि जडिन्छ। यो पञ्चकसम्मै यसको अगाडि बढ्छ। त्यसै कारण यमपञ्चक भन्नाले एउटा त काग तिहारदेखि सुरु हुने यमपञ्चक छ भने अर्को गोपूजाको सन्दर्भ, गोवर्धन पूजाको सन्दर्भ त्यो चाहिँ काग तिहारको अघिल्लो दिनदेखि सुरु हुन्छ र गोवर्धन पूजाको दिन अन्त्य हुन्छ। यसो गर्दाखेरि गोवत्स द्वादशीदेखि लिएर पनि गोको सन्दर्भमा पनि यस्तो पञ्चक देखा पर्दछ।
यसैबीच तिहार नेपालमा मात्र नभई भारतमा पनि दीपावलीको नामले हर्षोल्लासका साथ मनाइन्छ। यो पर्वको अवसरमा भारतमा विभिन्न स्थानहरूमा मेला लाग्ने गर्दछ। नेपालीहरूको दोस्रो ठुलो चाड तिहार देशभर मनाइरहेको यो अवसरमा देश विदेशमा रहनुभएका सम्पूर्ण नेपालीहरूमा हाम्रो पनि हार्दिक मङ्गलमय शुभकामना।
दर्शकवृन्द, तिहार सम्बन्धीको यो सामग्रीपछि कार्यक्रममा विश्राम लिने बेला भएको छ। विश्रामपछि सहयात्रा संवाद लिएर आउनेछौँ, तर हाम्रो सहयात्रा भने जारी नै रहनेछ। विश्रामपछि कार्यक्रममा पुनः स्वागत छ। कार्यक्रम सहयात्रामा अब भने सहयात्रा संवाद प्रस्तुत गर्ने बेला भएको छ। सूचना सम्प्रेषणका साथै देश विकास र समाज सुधारका लागि पनि सञ्चार क्षेत्रको महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहने भएकाले कार्यक्रम सहयात्रामा हामीले विभिन्न क्षेत्रका सम्बन्धित व्यक्तित्वहरूसँग सहयात्रा संवाद गर्दै आएका छौँ। यस क्रममा आज हामीसँग हुनुहुन्छ डच फाउन्डेसनका अध्यक्ष अल्बर्ट कम्पेनम्यानन। डच फाउन्डेसनले नेपालमा भने हिमालयन केयर ह्यान्ड्स नामक गैर सरकारी संस्था मार्फत काम गर्दै आएको छ, जसले काभ्रे जिल्ला स्थित बनेपामा कान सुन्न नसक्ने बालबालिकाको शिक्षा दीक्षामा सहयोग गर्दै आएको छ। साथै उक्त संस्थाले दोलखाको मैनापोखरीमा एक अस्पताल पनि निर्माण गरेको छ। अब भने कार्यक्रम सहयात्रा संवादमा सोही संस्थाका अध्यक्ष अल्बर्ट कम्परम्याननसँगको सहयात्रा संवाद प्रस्तुत गर्दैछौँ। Hello everyone and welcome to our program Sahayatra Sambad. I am Chanda. In today's program we invite big social worker Dr. Albert from Holland. Now he launching one modern hospital is in Mainapokhari, Dolakha. Hello sir, welcome in our program Sahayatra Sambad.
Namaste, and I'm glad to be here.
When you been in Nepal?
I came here the first time in 2008
Yeah.
to Nepal. It was my first visit to this beautiful country. And I already got in love with it because of the beauty of its nature and its culture.
What's your feelings about Nepal and Nepali people?
Well, first of all, I think it's the most friendly people in the world.
Yeah.
And that's not only I'm saying this, but many of my friends and family also noticed that these people are very, very open, very friendly, and very interested about the outside world, and we like these people. Yes.
Thank you very much. What is the reason behind choosing Nepal as your service center?
Yes. Well, actually, you know, Nepal is known for its Himalayan range.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thinks Nepal is about climbing and it's about trekking, but nobody really understands that Nepal is also a country of underprivileged people. It's about being poor, about the absence of health care and the education system, and not everyone has access to it. And that's not known to the Western society, that Nepal also is a developing country. And that's the main reason we looked into this, because there are many parts in the world where also much of aiding is going, and Nepal still is it lacks of help from outside, so we actually choose, especially Nepal now, for our kinds of projects.
So why did you choose Mainapokhari in Dolakha in particular?
Well, when we came here in 2008, we built up many relationships and friends, and they told us about Mainapokhari, the Dolakha district, and the high mortality rate amongst young mothers and their children.
Yeah.
And they had good contacts in Mainapokhari, and so we said, okay, we don't know where we can aid, and so you have to give us a destination. And this was the hometown of our friends, and so we went there.
You have been serving health sector of Nepal through community hospital?
Yeah. When we first got the idea to set up a hospital, we thought, okay, how we do this? Because we didn't want to run it from outside. We really needed to hand over once the hospital was finished to a local community, because we strongly believe that only we can teach people how they can help themselves. It's not our hospital. We just built it and then we hand it over. So we needed a strong community infrastructure. So local people believing we can run this hospital.
So
ourselves.
what is the particular reason for choosing in Dolakha?
Yeah, well, Dolakha has a very, not so much Dolakha, but Mainapokhari, yes, has a very strong cooperative structure.
Yeah.
So they are already familiar to the concept of let us do this together as community. You see it at the cooperative banking they have. So we thought, okay, if they really believe in this societal cooperation, then this is the place we should start to build this first hospital.
What type of patients you have been serving there?
Well, actually, we started this idea as a maternity clinic because we believed that the women needed and the children and for the care. But at the end, we started to believe, well, imagine that a man comes and has a broken leg. What we will do? We will say, okay, this is just a maternity clinic, so we refuse you. So we changed the concept and we made it into a general hospital. So now everybody is welcome with any kinds of diseases, and we try to treat them or bring them from our hospital to a more specialized hospital in Kathmandu.
At a time when hospital have mushroomed in the country, how does your hospital stand out from the rest?
we took our materials from
Yeah.
from Holland because we wanted to give our staff, our doctors and our nursing staff the opportunity to work with foreign materials, new machines, new equipment. The second is that we want to introduce a new concept by organizing healthcare through local communities. And so we think that's a bit different than setting up a hospital by Nepali all themselves. So we try to learn them, they can learn from us, and in that way we hope to achieve something new.
What's special about this hospital?
What's special about this hospital?
Yeah.
It's actually a very modern hospital. It has much equipment from Holland, very modern equipment. What is special about this is that it is run by locals themselves.
Yeah.
It's a real community hospital, but we keep an eye on it, and if there is a need to expand the clinic, or we see that the numbers of patients is increasing, then we also will help to expand the clinic.
Who are the health workers, Dutch or Nepalese?
No, they are actually Nepali, because
yeah.
we again believe that only Nepali can do this. But what we do is we send, from time to time, we send many volunteers, so nurses and healthcare assistants from Holland, to give them the experience of how is healthcare in Nepali, and they will help the local Nepali to the healthcare.
So could you please tell about the fundraising for operating your hospital?
Yes, what we did is we have in Holland several institutions that collect money from individuals, and they choose then destinations in the world where they can spend the money. So what we did is, together with our Nepali Himalayan Care Hands Foundation, we made an application and we sent it in, and then we described in many details about the situation in Nepal, and they granted us the total funding for this hospital.
Have you thought about expanding the hospital branches?
Yes, we are already doing, and because we see that now the local people in Mainapokuri are starting to really believe that this hospital is for them. So many more patients are coming, and we see now already we are reaching the number of 4,000 patients in 1 year. So it's going up and up and up. And now there's a new application ready for expanding the clinic with a first floor, an ambulance, and we will maintaining to do that if people are coming to our hospital.
What is your other activities in Nepal?
Yes, we started out actually with educational programs. We did a computer project at deaf school in Banepa. And that was actually a very nice project, because it's about deaf children, and they are isolated in the world, and we provided them with internet and laptops, and we provided them with English lessons, so they now can actually communicate with the outer world, and they actually love it. And we think that bringing knowledge to people, bringing knowledge to children, teaching them is the best way to improve the situation in Nepal.
What sorts of rules and regulations do you expect to ease your work?
Yeah, many. I have a big list for them.
Yeah.
No. What we hope that we can establish better relationships also with the government, because it's all about permits. You know, in healthcare and also in education, you have to maintain some rules about the educational system in Nepal, but also the healthcare system. And we hope really to work with them closely together to see what is really needed, and to speed up the things, because some of the problems, especially healthcare, it needs a quick response. And we understand it's all about papers and stamps, and in Holland we have the same problem, but we should seek ways to speed up the things.
Have you ever faced hurdles in running the hospital following the rules and regulations in Nepal government?
Well, it was a very private initiative thus far, and on one point, of course, you have to look at the regulations, you have to talk to the government. And they actually are very glad when they see, okay, this initiative is growing, there's really a building, there's really a staff, so then they are more willing to cooperate with us. Because they always think, okay, this foreign aid, it's about dreaming a nice project, but actually doing and building is another thing. But now we're actually having their full support. We are glad for that, and we hope that also in the future that will maintain.
You have opened these hospitals your wife's name, right?
Yes.
Was it your wife's dream project or your interest?
No, it was actually not only my wife's interest, it was our all belief, our Nepali friends and my wife's and also mine to establish this hospital. And she saw it in, she knew that it would come, she never really witnessed its opening, but yes, we opened it in her name, her picture is hanging there, and we believe that it's a good karma for the hospital.
What are plans to expand your service in future?
Yeah, we have to see, because there's, well, the nicest thing would be if this hospital is run well and we have a good concept, then we will try to copy it to even other districts where similar problems arise. In Nepal and other areas, and then we have a real scenario.
Kathmandu or remote?
No, I think more the remote areas. In Kathmandu, you see, especially that many NGOs are already active, but in the remote areas, there's still a lack of healthcare and also educational help. And I think we really should look there and try to copy this concept to there, and with the help and support of communities to establish another good hospital or another good school or whatever. Yes.
And last questions.
Yes.
Any suggestions for our Sahayatra program and Nepali media sector?
You know, you have a very important role as media sector, and because it's communicating with the outside world and bringing the knowledge. And I'm really glad that I'm here. I can tell about my project, and you really should spend a lot of time to other works like NGOs, what they are doing, what they are and to bring them together, that they see each other's work and they can learn from each other. And in that process, you have a very important role, I think.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, very glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. दर्शकवृन्द, सहयात्रा संवादमा आज हामीले डच फाउन्डेसनका अध्यक्ष अल्बर्ट कम्पेर म्याननसँग कुराकानी गर्यौं। डच फाउन्डेसनले नेपालका कान सुन्न नसक्ने बालबालिकाको शिक्षा दीक्षामा सहयोग गर्ने र अस्पताल निर्माण जस्ता कार्यहरू गर्दै आइरहेको छ। यी विविध सामग्रीको क्रमसँगै कार्यक्रमको समय पनि सकिएको छ। तपाईलाई आजको श्रृंखला कस्तो लाग्यो? तपाईको अमूल्य सल्लाह, सुझाव र प्रतिक्रिया हाम्रा लागि मार्गदर्शन हुने भएकाले हामीलाई इमेल लेख्न नभुल्नुहोला। सहकार्य, सहमति, समझदारी र सहअस्तित्वको साझा मञ्च कार्यक्रम सहयात्रामा तपाई हाम्रो सहयात्रालाई आजका लागि भने यही बिट मार्न चाहन्छौं। अर्को साता तपाई हाम्रो भेट हुने नै छ। अन्त्यमा शुभ दीपावलीको यो अवसरमा सहयात्रा परिवारको तर्फबाट फेरि पनि हाम्रा सबै दर्शक महानुभाव एवं शुभचिन्तकहरूमा शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्दछौं। हवस् त, कार्यक्रम निर्माण युनिट सहित म चन्दा पनि आज्ञा चाहन्छु। नमस्कार।
This program is brought to you by Fulbright Consultancy and Ama Turikotel.